Welcome back to this new topic in SQL with ChatGPT. Now, usually, if I want to learn about the SQL, I used to go to W3 schools, I used to go pawanlalwani.com or other locations to understand about the SQL. But now, with the time with GPT, I don't have to go and learn the entire topic. I can quickly go to ChatGPT and I can ask them, how do I create some specific query? So, everyone, in this video, we'll be learning how to create a query using ChatGPT for SQL Server here. Okay. When I say SQL Server, you can create a similar queries for almost 50 plus different data sources. SQL, Oracle, MySQL and so on, you can create for them. So now, let's try to test it. I have the MySQL server right now on my machine and now I want to write some SQL queries over there. But I do not know, I am very bad into SQL queries. Let's assume I'm good into it, but let's assume. So how do I create some queries into the MySQL server over there by writing some topic here? So what is the question right now I'll be asking them? The question I'll right now ask them that create a SQL query for the below activities. The first activities, a data set should be related to Netflix movies and the series. That's a context I'm trying to give them. Okay. And now I tell them that create a database. Okay. So create a database and I can just press enter. Now what will happen is it is trying to do some topics over there. If you see the explanation and the example as well it is giving. And I did not ask them to insert the data. Okay, carefully observe. If I scroll up, it says on the top that this is the SQL query to create a database. Now, since I already know it, I can quickly guess about this is a query for creating a database. But some people who are very new to SQL Server, MySQL Server, what they can do is they need to have some prerequisite understanding about how to install the software, how to configure the software, how to enter the username, password, and so on. People who know this basics, they can actually do it from there. Even if you don't know the basics, still, you can ask the same thing to the ChatGPT and it will give you the answers. Let's try. So, if you see on my screen, I have already installed this SQL server over here, which is known as Microsoft SQL Server Management Studio. This is also known as Microsoft SSMS. Okay, SQL Server Management Studio. So, here what I can do is, if you see on the left hand side, I've already connected to the database over here. Now, I'm creating a new database. So how do I do that? I can just copy the code from here and I can just paste the code on this location. So first thing what it will do is it will create a database and the name of the database is Netflix DB. So DB stands for database. This is the method or the convention by which you write a query. Okay. Then after creating that, it is switching to the newly created database and now it is inserting a table. Okay. In that table, if you see create table Netflix, int id, int primary key, auto increment and so on. So it is giving some details. If I want to execute, I'll select that thing and I'll just click on this execute button. Here Netflix DB should be ideally visible on the left hand side. Now if it is not visible, I have to right click and I have to click on refresh. Now this features are not written over there, but I'm just pointing out this thing that you can see the Netflix DB on the left hand side. So this is the Netflix DB. Now same way, if I want to create some table over here, okay, which I did not ask them, I wanted to ask in the next question, but I'll select this and I can click on execute. Now here is the error message. So it says incorrect syntax near auto increment. Now I am stuck. I do not know. I don't have instructor. I am very poor. I'm a poor boy and I have no one to guide me. No problem. You can copy this particular text in the error message, go to ChatGPT and paste it over there. So trust me, it can give the fastest response ever than any teacher you have ever met. But you have to be careful, it lies a lot. Okay. So it says apologies for the confusion, the error has occurred and so and so. So I might copy the code again. Okay. I will copy the code and I can just paste it over here. Control A, Control V. Now when I select this data and I can click on execute. So it says still incorrect syntax near movie. So I have to do this again and again. Okay, I have to just do it again and again till I get the code right. Okay, till I get the code right. Once I get the right code, obviously I can create a particular table. So let me copy this again. Control A, Control V. I can execute. So finally, after multiple iterations, it gave me the answer. Now it says there's a Netflix contained type of table. It's a name of table. And if I expand this tables on the left hand side, I do not see any table. However, I can right click and refresh. When I right click and refresh, here on the left hand side Netflix, if I go to tables, I should be able to see the tables over there. Okay, in this Netflix content. So it is not there. Let me just select use and then create, and then right click and refresh. So here in the database, Netflix database, in the tables, I have got it. So actually it created in some other location. So I made it right again by selecting the option as use Netflix DB. That means in this particular DB, you have to create that table. Now, for whom it is useful? It is useful for everyone. If you are a student, okay, learning in school or a college, and you have no one to guide you, ChatGPT 3.5 is free of cost. Anybody can open, log in and start using it. Number two, if you are a teacher who is trying to teach to the students, you can just try to ask them, show me top 10 examples which I can teach them in 1 hour. Okay, and it should be very, very simple option. If you're a working professional, if you get stuck into any query right now, you can put the scenario in this particular GPT and get out all the proper SQL queries so that you can use it. If you are getting some error, just copy that error, paste it there, you'll get the answers. So any person who wants to understand definitely can get all the requirement from here. Now let's move on. So now I'll tell them Control C and I can press Control V. So what I want here right now is I want them to insert records in table with dummy data of 10 different countries. Okay, and I'll press enter. So right now the data is related to Netflix. So Netflix data, and I'll just copy the code over here, and I'll go to this Microsoft SQL Server. Okay, SSMS, and I can paste it here. Now this is the code. Now imagine to write this code, I will take a lot of time. As a student, you should do it practically. You should understand how to get it. But after some time, if you need some help, some student, some teacher or mentor, you can use it. I can select this, click on execute. It says 10 rows are affected. Now let me check whether it is working or not. So I'll write as select a star from, and the name of the table is Netflix contain. So I can copy and I can paste it over here, semicolon, and I can execute. So I can select, execute, and I can get the answer. So you see, everyone, it created database, it created table, it inserted values, and it is showing me the output here. Okay, now this is for Netflix. Since you are very young, who's watching right now, for you people have put as Netflix, but in real time it becomes more boring. Professionals are a little boring over there. They put the data for employee database, hierarchy management, product management, then they put the marketing and sales contain, then they have multiple examples which they put. But you can make it more interesting. If you're a student, make it lively so that you can learn it from there for your purpose here. Now the last question I can ask them, what is the question here is, can you alter the table, okay, with some random changes? Now if you're a student of SQL, you might know there's a DDL, DML, DCL. These are the queries which you have: data manipulation language, data definition language, and so on. So I've asked them to do an alter the table with some changes and enter here. But in real time, you can ask them exact specific questions that change the data type of a column, increment the column, or add one extra column, or delete one column. You can ask them that way. So here I can just copy the code over here, and now I can just paste the code. This particular code I can just again select and I can execute. So it has done some changes, and here if I want, I can see the changes what has been done. So you see it has added the country which is given as null, or some options they have added. So coming to the point over here, how do I create SQL queries using ChatGPT? That's the topic here. You can also ask them, explain me the query. I will put the query, explain me the query, which we'll see in the next topic right now. So use this ChatGPT. Now, since I have shown you one example of SSMS, consider this SSMS as one tool. There are almost 50 plus data sources, okay, like SQL, Oracle, and other places. The same query works in all the data sources. If you learn one SQL language, you are capable of learning all the data sources as well. So you can start copy pasting over there as well. Perfect. So I hope you have understood how to create the SQL queries in ChatGPT for SQL Server or any other database. That's all for this video.